Oh, well that clears things up. Now I get it. And by that I mean I get that this game makes no f***ing sense whatsoever. But you know what? That's part of the charm in this one. It's so unique that it's an easy recommendation with a few conditions. Those being you're interested in crazy new ideas, even if they come at the cost of refinement, and you don't mind a story, setting, and general premise utterly void of logic or any explanation of their unexplainably unexplainable unexplainability. That's not even a word, but it doesn't matter. In WARTECH, SENKO no RONDE. I'm pretty confident this game is making up words too. Released to the Xbox 360 in 2007, WARTECH is actually an enhanced port of the Japanese arcade game SENKO no RONDE, hence the subtitle. For obvious marketing reasons, Ubisoft arbitrarily gave SENKO no RONDE a nice, vague, American-sounding title. It makes sense. That's about the only thing in WARTECH that does. I'm not entirely sure what genre to which I should ascribe WARTECH. This game is a hybrid of hybrids. It's an arcade brawler mixed with a shooter that often morphs into the latter entirely. If there were any kind of logical narrative, it might be easier to explain what this game's about, but as it is, you're flying around in some kind of suit, I think, and you're fighting other people with lasers while they go Megazord on your ass. And that's when things go from fighter to straight up Ikaruga. There isn't much in the way of content in WARTECH. That's actually the most glaring problem with this game. You get a story mode without a story, a score mode, and the obligatory addition of online multiplayer, gameplay being the same convoluted mess across each of them. Speaking of that gameplay, man, I really wish I could explain what I'm doing in this footage, but honestly, I'm not even sure myself. What I do know is that you fight from this top-down camera angle, shooting all kinds of sin and punishment-like projectile attacks, blocking those incoming attacks, and even getting face-to-face for some pugilistic pummeling. Now what's interesting is that your attacks are based on range. It can be hard to decipher at first with all the craziness happening on screen, but there's a series of rings around your character. You get your opponent within those circles, and you can use the corresponding attacks, close, mid-range, or long distance. Unfortunately, each playable character has his or her own strengths and weaknesses, and it's nice to have that variation on the game's mechanics. It's complex enough to be really rewarding once you figure things out, but the game doesn't have any kind of useful tutorial, so in that area you're pretty much on your own. And to me, that's a big problem with WARTECH. Another is you can only play so many games with indistinguishable anime characters before they all start to blend together. It's a shame a game so unique doesn't have its own unique character to match. But again, the biggest problem is the lack of content. WARTECH kind of feels like an Xbox Live arcade game, so it's kind of hard to justify a retail price tag. Otherwise though, I mean, if you want to try something crazy, this game is definitely that. Big thanks to our pal Paul from California for sending the bizarre and unfortunately brief WARTECH SENKO no RONDE.